6 puts in a blinding turn of foot at the 200-meter marker, and Gimme 6 to knock them out the park. Still Janubi, how much left in the tank? But still Janubi goes. Janubi in front, and that's where he stays. Marinaresco's burning through on the inside. Saratoga Dancer, here comes the line. Whoa, very, very close, a three-way go.
10 Gun Salute continuing on now. 10 Gun Salute has won. Brave Mary's in front by 2 lengths from Green Plains, and it's going to go to Brave Mary. Brave Mary has won it. And Sand and Sea comes exploding into action. Sand and Sea to win, easing up and going away. Carry On Alice says, I'm here, don't worry, and it's Carry On Alice, 5 Group 1, she won it. Bull Valley just the leader, down the inside Golf Storm, Bull Valley's holding on, Bull Valley won it.
Captain Splendid and Pierce Stratham in front, My World second, but Captain Splendid's digging in from My World. Lady of the House, Gimme 6 on the inside. Lady of the House pulls it out. Edict of Nant is going great guns from El Sahim. Edict of Nant from El Sahim. Edict of Nant takes it to another level. Just Sensual hit the front. Just Sensual and Anton Marcus pull it out the fire. Elusive Silver, Crowd Pleaser fights on courageously. Elusive Silver and Crowd Pleaser, maybe Elusive Silver by a short head. Captain America from Trip to Heaven, and Captain America going great guns. Captain America to shine.
Search Party and Talk to the Stars. Search Party just the leader and won it. Zante over the last 100 meters. Girl on the Run, Witchcraft, but Zante has won it. Mr. Winsome and Sun on Africa, nothing between the two of them. Mr. Winsome though gaining the advantage, and Mr. Winsome goes on to win it. Russo Mundo, Captain Splendid, Canaan on the inside, it's close from Russo Mundo, involved in a photo is Canaan, but it's mighty close, down to the line they go. Desert Rhythm hit the front over the last 100, Spring Breeze and Let It Flow. Desert Rhythm going on though, and Desert Rhythm has won it. Ancestry and Purple Diamond, they get to the line. Purple Diamond, the red sleeves and cap, and this one for Chris Van Niekerk and Sean Tarry. Marinaresco and El Sahim, they went over the line as one, very, very close. Still El Mariachi digging in deep. Sniper shots trying hard, but El Mariachi finds the line. It's Bella Bella from She's a Giver, but Bella Bella's too good and she wins by 3. And Bull Valley's going on, running on his new Predator, but Bull Valley won it. Princess Peach is finding though. Princess Peach won it, Neptune's Reign second, Light on a Toast third. El Mariachi's got it safe, and El Mariachi has won it. Fort Ember now comes into the lead. Fort Ember, Nightingale, but Fort Ember's going to win it. It's now Lady in Black, and Lady in Black just made it home. Lady in Black won it. Eyes wide open, Ancestry, eyes wide open, won it. But the leader Sail South, and it's Sail South going on. Sail South will win it. Haramuso Mundo and Zante from Kinan. Haramuso Mundo, Zante, there's nothing in it. Haramuso Mundo's going to win it.
It's a kind of magic, a kind of magic.
One dream, one soul, one prize, one goal, one golden gaze of what should be.
It's a kind of magic.
One shaft of light to show the way. No mortal man can win this day.
It's a kind of magic.
The bells that ring inside your mind is challenging the doors of time.
It's a kind of magic.
The way will be eternity. The days of dawn, insanity. Is this the kind of magic?
It's a kind of magic.
There can be only one. The rage that lasts 1,000 years will soon be done. The flame that burns inside of me, I'm hearing secret harmony. The bells that ring inside your mind is challenging the doors of time. Oh, it's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. The rain that lasts 1,000 years will soon be done. This is the kind of magic. There can be only one. The rage that lasts 1,000 years will soon be done. Magic.
Samantha Saunders, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, Champion Season 2017 produced some kind of magic against the background of a theme for the season of Colour of Magic. Tonight, we honour KZN domiciled horses, jockeys, apprentices, trainers and owners with our KZN Racing Awards. On behalf of KZN Nota and the board and management of Gold Circle, we welcome you all here this evening to the 2017 KZN Racing Awards. Just to remind you that for most of the categories, only performances amongst KZN domiciled horses are taken into account, but not for all the categories, as you will see through the course of the evening. That said, on behalf of Gold Circle, and I think on behalf of racing fans throughout KwaZulu-Natal, no, racing fans throughout South Africa, we extend a massive vote of appreciation to all those who came to visit our city and our province during the course of Champion Season, of which, no doubt, the Vodacom Durban July was once again a highlight on the South African racing and social scene. Before we get underway, ladies and gentlemen, one or two little housekeeping rules, if you like. First of all, and I know that we might have had a hiccup to start with, tonight, for all non-premium brands, everything is on Gold Circle. So please don't pay for a drink. If you have already, we'll try and issue you a refund in due course. Also, the toilets, for those of you who are not fully aware of how this venue is laid out, through the door to the right, the ladies on the same level, the gentlemen up the stairs, And for those guys who still partake of that evil habit, smoking, of which I see some already out there, you go out to the left and up the stairs and outside, and that's where the smokers can indulge their favorite habit. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, with a whole lot of magic, it's time to get the show on the road. And it's a great pleasure for us tonight to deviate from the norm and to use this platform for the National Horse Racing Authority to honor one of its long-serving members of staff, a lady that we know well. But to do more and to say more, please welcome on stage the Chief Executive Officer of the National Horse Racing Authority, Mr. Lyndon Barnes.
Thank you, Graham, and thanks to all the board for having us here today. It's always a grand occasion. I remember coming here last year and being blown away by the entertainment. Today, if there's any objections thus far, Arnold will take any objection. But that was a joke at our table. Someone once said that people will be your greatest asset in your company, and I totally disagree with that. I believe the right people will be the asset. And it's our pleasure this evening to honor one of our staff members that's been around with the organization for 25 years. 25 years of dedication, 25 years of listening to the good and the bad, and sometimes the ugly. We are very happy and privileged that we have an outstanding person like Julie Wilson with us for 25 years. And therefore, this evening, we'd like to call her up as we hand her a trophy, symbolic for her hard work and the dedication that she's displayed in trying to take us right to the top. Is Julie here? She's beautiful, she's hardworking, and please give her a lovely round of applause.
Anybody who's met Julie Wilson will know she's one outstanding person. She's delightful. She's beautiful. Julie, just to remind you, for that statue, even for the statue, authority to act, you'll have to get your own colors and all of those sort of things, all right? She feels like she's won an Oscar. Well, you have tonight, Julie. You've won an Oscar. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into our first round of awards, and after the first number of awards, we'll then break for some dinner, during which we'll be entertained by the celebrated Swing City, who are here to entertain us through the course of the evening. But we're going to kick off tonight with a couple of the racing awards, honoring the best performance in the various categories by a locally trained horse, locally domiciled horse, in the various categories. And to get us underway, it's my great pleasure to call on our Vice Chairperson, Mr. Moses Tembi, and the Chairman of the Club and Chairman of the Racing Committee, Mr. Neil Butcher, to come up on stage to do the honors for us in round one of tonight's awards. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Neil. Right, we kick off with the ladies and gentlemen. Best performance by a locally trained KZN domiciled 2-year-old filly during the course of the 2017 champion season. Allow me to introduce the two nominees in this category. Lady in Black, the undefeated daughter of Dynasty, trained by Dennis Dreyer, a most impressive winner of the Tequini Stakes Grade 1. And Neptune's Reign, trained by Duncan Howells, winner of the Strelitzia Stakes. Lady in Black. Nancy and Jack Mitchell, who have attended their apologies this evening, receiving the award on their behalf, Dennis Dreyer, and of course Stuart Ferry. Dennis, of course, trains this magnificent daughter of Dynasty, who was bred down in the Western Cape by Mr. W.J. Engelbrecht Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, she's undefeated, 3 from 3, the winner of the eThekwini Stakes. Put your hands together for Lady in Black. Thank you, Bill. Right, now we move on to the male equivalent. The best performance by a 2-year-old colt or gelding. And in this category, we have 3 nominees. And here they are. Sandan Sea, another inmate of the powerful Dennis Dreyer Yard and runaway winner of the Tokasan Gold Medallion, Group 1. Second of the 3 nominees, Trojan Harbour, impressive winner of the Gatecrasher Stakes. And our third nominee, Varello, trained by Charles Laird, runner-up in the Tokasan Gold Medallion. No prizes for guessing here, ladies and gentlemen. The best performance by 2-year-old colt, Sandan Sea. Winner of the Tokasan Gold Medallion, Grade 1. First crop, Grade 1 winner in South Africa for the new stallion. And Sandan Sea, of course, owned by Bernard Cantor, Mr. W.J.C. Mitchell, Marsh Shirtcliffe and Mayfair Speculators, bred by Gaynor Rupert at the Drakenstein Stud. Well done to our losing nominees, Trojan Harbour and Varello, but tonight they were outshone by the sand and the sea. Give a nice round of applause once again to our very own Dennis Dreyer. And so we move to the classics. Best performance by a 3-year-old filly. And in this category, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 very high quality 3-year-old fillies. In alphabetical order, here they are. Dawn Calling, a high-class and consistent performer who ran out of her skin when second in the KZN Breeders' Million Mile. And our second nominee, Sail, who caught the eye with a very good third in the Daisy Fillies Guineas. Judge the best performance by a 3-year-old filly. Once again, it's Dennis Dreyer and the daughter of philanthropist, Sail, for the Drakenstein Stud, who also bred this beautiful daughter of a philanthropist. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Sail, a high-quality daughter philanthropist, bred and owned by the Drakenstein Stud. Unfortunately, Gaynor and her team couldn't be here this evening, but as you can see, Dennis and Jill are here in force. Another nice big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was better, Dennis. They say third run after rest, your peak run. That was great. Moving on to the best performance by a 3-year-old male. Once again, it's the classic contenders, ladies and gentlemen, and they had to come up against the very best that the country had to throw at them. But they certainly did not disgrace themselves. Allow me to introduce our 2 nominees in the best performance by a 3-year-old male category. My pal Al, who loves Gravel, ran a great second to Rodney in the Umgeni Handicap. And our second nominee is Secret Captain, who ran a great second in the Daisy Guineas behind Janubi. It wasn't hard to pick that the best performance by KZN domiciled 3-year-old was Secret Captain in the Daisy Guineas. Duncan Hells and stable rider Keegan DeMello coming forward to receive the award on behalf of a man who lives in Johannesburg but has invested heavily in racehorses in this province and is happy to do so. We pay respects to Dave McLean, who unfortunately his father's taken ill and he couldn't be here with us this evening, but he's asked that we extend on his behalf his heartfelt thanks and apologies for not being here this evening. Secret Captain, a wonderful son, a grey son of Captain L, the late Captain L, trained, of course, by the incomparable Duncan Howells. Let's hear it once more for Secret Captain. Our thanks to Moses and to Neil. Come on, let's keep you guys warm. A nice little round of applause for Moses and Neil. As we welcome on stage, as we continue, two other directors of Gold Circle, two guys who really love their racing, Barbara Noonan and Greg Petzer. Would you please join me on stage? Barbu, slow out the gates. Bork for a run. And Barbu Noonan. Okay, serious business, ladies and gentlemen, but we had to entertain you tonight. We had to have fun and we had to enjoy one another's company while recognizing top quality performances through a variety of categories. And now we move on to the best performance by an older horse. And there were a number of eye-catching performances in this category, which has led us to 4 nominees. Barboza, who ran on strongly to finish 3rd in the Tokasan Sprint Group 1 at Scottsville. Our second nominee, Mr. Winsome, dual feature race winner of the Truck and Ball Derby and the Michael Roberts Handicap. Our third nominee is Saratoga Dancer. What a great run in the Independent Drill Hall Stakes, finishing 3rd just ahead behind Marinaresco. And our last nominee is 10 Gun Salute, impressive winner of the Betting World 1900 Grade 2. And the trophy goes and the title goes to 10 Gun Salute. Duncan Hells on the stage once more, this time with James Rich, receiving the awards from Greg Petzer and from Barbu Noonan. Duncan Hells trained this Australian-bred horse owned by Mrs. H. Kuhn and the Red Trading Jack Trading Pty Limited, bred in Victoria by Bovest Pty Limited. The champion older horse, the best performance by an older horse, winning the Betting World 1900 Grade 2 in spectacular fashion. Let's hear it once again for 10 Gun Salute. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the best performance by a sprinter. And obviously here, the competition was keen, the competition was tough, And once again, in this category, which covers distances from 1,000 meters all the way up to 1,400 meters, we have 4 nominees. My Pal Al, we've already had him nominated this evening for that great second in the Umgeni Handicap. Our second nominee in the sprint category, London Call, great fourth in the Mercury Sprint behind a host of top quality runners. Third nominee is Sand and Sea, a come from behind impressive win in the Tokasan Gold Medallion. And the winner is Sand and Sea. Gets the honours for his dramatic come from last to victory, winning the Tokasan Gold Medallion Grade 1. The undefeated son of Twice Over, Group 1 winner from the first crop of Twice Over. Once again, it's the colours of Bernard Cantor seen to the fore, raced by Bernard Cantor, WJC Mitchell, Marsh Shirtliff and Mayfair Speculators. Sand and Sea, bred at the Drakenstein stud of Gaynor Rupert. Once again, we say congratulations to the powerful Dennis Dryer stable, Sand and Sea, and we wish him well for his sophomore career. Well done, Dennis. Well done, Joel. Well done to the whole team. Moving on now to best performance by a middle distance runner. Above 1,400 meters, but below 2,400 meters. And here in this category, we have 3 nominees. The first of 4 nominees, Celtic Captain, winner of the Michaelmas Handicap, trained by Gareth Van Sale. Second nominee is Lady in Black, already honoured for her outstanding victory in the Grade 1 Tequini Stakes. Saratoga Dancer earns another nomination for his gallant third in the Independent on Saturday Drill Hall Stakes. And our fourth nominee, 10 Gun Salute, winner of the Betting World 1900 Grade 2. Best performance by middle distance horse for the second time tonight. We congratulate 10 Gun Salute. Red Jack Trading Pty Limited. Luciani doing all the right things, both during and after the race. Duncan Hulls and Devon Netlin receiving the trophy on behalf of the Coons and Red Jack Trading, bred in Australia and Victoria by the Bovest Pty Limited. There we go. Once again, let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, for 10 Gun Salute. And so to our last category before dinner. We've done the sprinter, we've done the middle distance, so all that's left is the best performance by a stayer. And in this category, we have just 2 nominees. Mr. Winsome, a hard-fought victory in the Track and Ball Derby at Scottsville. And our second nominee, Sun on Africa, who chased Mr. Winsome home all the way to the line when finishing runner-up in the Track and Ball Derby. He won the Michael Roberts, he won the Track and Ball Derby, not disgraced in the Betting World 1900. Your winner is Mr. Winsome.
No going
I see Roy's taking a back seat and allowing Gladys to enjoy the moment with Victoria Dickerson. Dean Cannemeyer, the trainer, bred by Riverworld Stud. And as we were reminded when we were doing the draws for the Vodacom Durban July, ladies and gentlemen, Roy and Gladys Meeker have been involved in this game as owners for 60 years. Let's give them a round of applause. Some great horses over the years. And well done to Mr. Winsome, well done to Team Cannemeyer, well done to all of you guys. Thank you very much. And also a big thank you to Babu Noonan and to Greg Petzer. There's lots more to come, ladies and gentlemen. We've still got all of the human awards, and of course we're building up to that very important category, the horse of the season, the champion horse of our season, which is open to all horses from wherever they may come. So, in the meantime, sit back, relax, enjoy the music from Swing City. You're going to keep it nice and cool while we enjoy our dinner. Bon appetit, and we'll see you in a short while. We welcome you to round number 2 of our awards this evening as we build up to some very special awards later on this evening. We're going to start off the second round of awards with the champion KZN Apprentice of the Year. But before we get into that, I'm going to ask the Academy board member, Tony Riverland, to join us on stage to assist with the presentation of this award. Please put your hands together for Tony Riverland. Right, ladies and gentlemen, these awards are, of course, determined by the stats. The record speaks for itself. And the champion KZN Apprentice of the Year.
I'm back where I belong. Yeah, I never felt so strong. I'm back, I'm feeling like there's nothing I can't try. And if you with me, put your hands high. Put your hands high. You haven't lost a life before. This one's for you. Put your hands high. The dreams are filled. You're rocking with the best. I'll be on the song. I hear the tears of a clown. I hate that song. I always feel like
Tony, joined by Gold Circle's racing executive, Raf Sheikh, and Eric, who won 31 races during the course of the season, came out ahead of his competition in the KZN Apprentice of the Year category. Another great product of the South African Jockey Academy. Well done to Eric, who I have to also say made his debut this year as a presenter at the Vodacom Durban July. I really threw him into the deep end. I said to him, Eric, guess what you're doing for the next 30 minutes? He said, what am I doing for the next 30 minutes? Because he had ridden in race 4. I said, you're on SABC3. You're joining the coverage team for the 2017 Vodacom Durban July. His eyes lit up and he said, I'm all for that. And he performed with aplomb. So he's already practiced his speaking. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from the man himself while I lower the mics. Eric Ngwane. Stand up.
I'm up. Evening, everybody. I'm not a man of many words. I'm just going to be quick tonight. I'd just like to say big thanks to all the trainers that supported me throughout the season. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here, especially to Mr. Gordon. I've ridden a lot of winners for him this season. Mr. House, Mr. Cannemeyer, Mr. Terry, to name a few. A very big thanks to them and their owners. I really appreciate the support, and a big thanks to the Academy and the riding masters as well for all the hard work they put on me, and I'm grateful for it. And once more, big thanks to my family and friends for all the support, and have a good evening. Thanks.
A little anecdote, ladies and gentlemen. The day that the KZN Million Mile was run, I was sitting at the same table as Sean Terry. We were sitting and having lunch when the news came through that Samanga Kamalo had injured himself and he was without a rider for Matador Man. And he leant over to Dijon Steyn, who's here this evening representing the stable, and he said, "Oh, now we're in trouble." I said, "No, you're not. Eric Ngwani hasn't got a ride. That's your man." Eric, I just want to say thank you for not letting me down that day. Well done. We move on now, ladies and gentlemen, to the champion KZN Jockey of the Year. But as we now know, he's not just the champion of KwaZulu-Natal. He is once again the champion of South Africa. But before I introduce him, because I guess none of you know who I'm talking about, I'd like to call up Paul Lafferty and Michelle Narak to come up and assist with the presentation of this award. So please welcome Paul Lafferty and Michelle Narak. I don't know how many of you watched. Talking about the academy. Just for a moment, digressing before we get to the champion jockey. You will have watched with keen interest the Qatar race at Scottsville on Sunday, which was a result of very close relationships developing between South Africa and Qatar, between the South African Jockey Academy and Qatar. And I want to take this opportunity of applauding the efforts of the headmaster, the chief of the Jockey Academy, Graham Bailey, for all his efforts on the international front that bore fruit on Sunday and which could forge a great new partnership with Qatar and other countries going forward. So well done to Graham Bailey. But the reason I digressed was because as Paul Lafferty stood up, I wasn't sure that I was looking at a Qatar apprentice again, because I was amazed to see these apprentices. You know, when you watch apprentice races, they're clean-shaven, they're baby-faced. All I saw was beards and moustaches, and you could see they all rode work for Paul Lafferty and that he was going to run first and second in the race. And they said, "We want to be like you, Mr. Paul. We want to be like you, Mr. Paul." So we move on, as I said, to the champion KZN Jockey of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, here he comes. And as I said, he's not just the KZN champion. We are so proud of Anthony becoming once again the South African champion jockey for the third time in his career. And one little point we must never forget, and it's always worth repeating, that no jockey has ever ridden more winners in one season than, how many years ago, Anthony? 98. 98 years ago? 19. That's when Paul was 12. 1998, more than 300, I've forgotten the number, I think it's 323? 335, just as well I've got script writers behind me. 335 winners in one season. When he first captured his national title, that record still stands, notwithstanding that the number of races have gone up, that the opportunities to fly around the country have increased, that a winner in Kimberley is worth the same as winning the Vodacom Durban July in terms of jockeys championships, because one win counts the same as another. That's amazing, but it is true. And at that stage also, anytime you rode in Zimbabwe, that also counted towards the stats. But 335 winners was an incredible achievement. Winning the championship in 2017 was an incredible achievement. And being KZN champion jockey, he rode most of his winners this year in KZN, as one would expect. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce to you the one and only Anthony Delpech. Sorry, slight equipment change.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think firstly we've got to thank Gold Circle for putting up such a great evening. I won the Equus Award, but we're still the best. Very well done to you, Gold Circle. and to the trainers and owners that's been very supportive through this Natal season. Thank you very much. Without you owners, us jockeys will never have the winners and the trainers will never have the horses. A special thank has got to go to my Durban trainer, Dean Kannemeyer, the gentleman of racing. Thank you very much, Dean, for all the support this season. You've been a great gentleman and been very supportive and very understanding that I've been traveling to try and win this South African Championship. I really appreciate it, everything that you've done for me this season. Thank you. And this is the first season that I won the South African Award, the South African Championship after, I think it was nine years. And first time I've had new sponsorship, my new owner, Mary and Jessica Slack, my new sponsor and my new boss. Fantastic for the first year, joining them to win the Natal Championship and the South African Championship. To my agent, Dees Diner, could have never done it without you. You're a great agent, you're an asset to racing, and I know in racing, everybody, if you don't have someone behind you that can do the job well as you can ride, if you can't get the right horses, you're not going to win the races. Thank you for picking all the right horses during the season, Dees. I appreciate it. And to my family, to my wife, firstly, Candace, thank you very much for being so supportive through this whole season, not just the Natal Championship, the South African Championship. You've been without you, I could have never done it, and you've been very, very great support. And I've missed being at home without the children and you're always there to back me up. And when I have the bad times, you're always there to lift me up. I really appreciate it. And to Damon, Chelsea, and Brooklyn, you're my star.
As it's become very evident, have a look at that photograph. That's what it's all about for Anthony Delpesh. Winning races, but being with his family, and his family means so much to him. Once again, congratulations to Anthony Delpesh. All of these wonderful frames, ladies and gentlemen, as has become customary at the KZN Racing Awards, produced by Anita Akel. But this year, we know that Anita failed to get across Beaches Brook at the Grand National safely. And so she was kind of laid low for a while. And Annika, her daughter, has come to the rescue, and between them they make a great team. So at this juncture, before I forget later on, while I thought about it, having a look at that wonderful frame and all of the other wonderful frames that go part and parcel with the trophies here this evening, let's give Anita and Annika a nice big round of applause. We thank you so much for your contribution to the success of the KZN Racing Awards. Now we move on to the Champion KZN Trainer of the Year. Now let me outline the rules and regulations here, and they've been in place for many, many years. It's quite an anomaly, as I mentioned a moment ago, that if you win a race in Kimberley and you win the Vodacom Durban July, insofar as determining a jockey's championship is concerned, they are equal, because for all time, the South African Jockey Championship and all regional championships have been determined by the number of winners. Trainers, on the other hand, on a national basis, their championship is decided by stake money, but not so when it comes to determining the Champion KZN Trainer of the Year. It is determined by the number of winners trained by a trainer in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And it always produces a thrilling tussle. It's always quite close because it's determined by number of winners and not stake money necessarily, where one race can throw the cat amongst the pigeons. You've got to be consistent. You've got to produce the winners from August all the way through to July. August, September, October, there's no time for resting. The clock starts ticking. The log starts rolling. The winners start counting. right already. You think you can rest after the 31st of July when we've had the last big race meeting of champion season, the Pro Sport International Festival of Racing, incorporating the Eland Gold Cup? You can't rest because 3 weeks later. Oh, I thought, have you still got it? Oh, is that the trainer's one? This was my opportunity to get back at the boss. You just stand there, Michelle. I can't help it that you gave the little one to Paul and the big one over there. Is that telling me I must crack on? Oh, they're swapping now. That's better. That's better. Okay, now we can go on. So, it is about performing consistently throughout the year, producing the winners from the 1st of August all the way to July. And there's always a bit of needle, and there's always a lot of passion. But at the end of it all, here is your champion trainer in KwaZulu-Natal for the season ended 2017. Duncan Howells, James Rich, Keegan DeMello, Divan Yetlang. Ash Burton strikes again. And the first man to applaud him will no doubt be that great sportsman, Dennis Dreyer. The two of them were neck and neck at one stage, but over the last few weeks, Duncan struck it well, struck it good, and came home a couple of winners ahead of Dennis after an intriguing battle with Dean Kannemeyer not too far behind. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Duncan Howells.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a proud moment for our stable. It's very nice to work with a young team of guys who are very enthusiastic. They're every day to do their work and make my job a hell of a lot easier. It's also exceptionally good to have Kathy in the background picking the yearlings for me. And it's also very good to have Uncle Den around because he really makes you work hard. So thanks very much.
Well done to the Duncan Howells Racing team. Thank you to Michelle Narak. Paul is going to stay behind because, as you can see, Michelle is not one for stamina. He's not a stayer, he's a sprinter. Could we have a vet to table? Manfred? We've got a lame duck. Manfred says time out. I'd like to call on Koos de Klerk to please join Paul on stage to assist us with the presentation of the next couple of awards. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Koos de Klerk, Director of Gold Circle. The champion KZN Breed of the Year. Now, while so far to date, although, as I said, there are exceptions and there will be further exceptions later on this evening, we're honoring here this evening horses, trainers, jockeys, etc., racing out of KwaZulu-Natal. But the champion breeder of KZN is determined purely on stakes won by the progeny of a breeder in KZN. Only the KZN stats, but it's open to all studs. And here is your champion KZN breeder for the year ended 31st of July 2017. Coming out on top ahead of their arch rival Summerhill, not for the first time in KwaZulu-Natal, represented here this evening by the beautiful Michaela Cross. Unfortunately, John Costa and Grant Knowles couldn't be here this evening. So all the way from Cape Town, let's give a warm KwaZulu-Natal welcome to Michaela Cross to receive the award on behalf of Klavervlei Stud. So halfway through the evening, just halfway through the evening, because I was originally informed that Michaela had this beautiful, beautiful speech all laid out. And halfway through the evening, she came across to me and she says, I can't do this. I can't speak. I'm not a John Costa or a Grant Knowles or a Derek Brookman or a Mickey Goss. I can't speak. I've prepared it. I've spent days preparing it. Will you please let me off? So I have to be guided by you guys in the audience because I'm a softie. I'm an absolute softie. Those who believe I should let her off, say aye. Those who believe that she should speak, say aye. Michaela, you've got to say a few words. I'm sorry. Not my doing. It was the audience.
Thanks, Graham. On behalf of John and Grant and my Klavervlei family, I just want to say thank you for this award. It goes without saying that we couldn't do this without all of you and your loyal support. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very, very much. And to Gold Circle, congratulations on a fantastic season. Thank you.
Gee, not so hard. Well done, Michaela. We're going to send a video clip of that. It's going onto Facebook as we speak. It's going onto Instagram and all of those evil things. But I think you did really well, so there's going to be lots and lots of likes. Lots and lots of likes. The KZN Nota Owner of the Year. The owner, based in KwaZulu-Natal, who's earned more stakes and won more races than any other owner based in KwaZulu-Natal. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the KZN Nota Owner of the Year.
You can tell everybody, go ahead and take
Woodley.
Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I believe every lie that I ever told, paid for every heart that I ever stole. I played my cards and I didn't fold. Well, it ain't that hard when you got sold.
Roy and Mumsy stepping forward to receive their award. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you've seen here through the evening, the practice has been and has always been, apart from the trophies, to present these wonderful frames. Roy tonight gets 2 frames. The beautiful frame that you see that he gets there, recognizing him as the KZN Nota Owner of the Year. But there's a special award to him this evening, an additional frame. Because en route to becoming the KZN Nota Owner of the Year, he had an incredible, incredible afternoon at Greyville, which we believe, and it hasn't been refuted, to be a world record. 5 winners for 1 owner in the same colors on 1 afternoon in a race meeting. We believe that to be a world record. Well done to Roy Murdley.
Thank you, Program Director. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My sympathy goes to, first of all, my sympathy goes to Lizanne Forbes for her late husband, Alec Forbes. He was a great jockey for my stable. The last horse that he rode for me on the 20th of August, actually 2 horses, was Run Rhino Run and Mad Pushpa. Everybody knows about Mad Pushpa. Let me just say something about Mad Pushpa. How I met Mad Pushpa and how she came into the scene. Long time ago, about 20 years ago, I was doing security at Verulam. And there was a lady, she picked up an argument with me. And I didn't know this was Pushpa. She came up and she took over the scene. She rattled the lady. The lady had to actually keep quiet and go away. She ran away. And that is how I met Pushpa. And then I never knew she was mad. That was the best part of it. I never knew she was mad until one day I've heard that she was very hungry. Actually, she was battling. She was very, very hungry, and she went and fell in front of the Kentucky doorstep. And then, there was an old white couple, picked her up and gave her some fruits. She got up and said, "What the fuck you doing? If I wanted fruit and vegetable, I should fell in the vegetable shop." So that is Mad Pushpa for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank my trainers. And I've got good trainers. I've seen this afternoon there is only 2 trainers in Natal. Every time you look up, you see Duncan, Dennis. Duncan, Dennis. What happened to all the other trainers? I don't know what happened to them. One good thing of the trainers in Natal, if the horses do well, then they put a bad jockey to bring the merit rate down, and then they want to win the small races. There's 2 types of trainers in Natal. You get trainers and you get trainers. One trainers want to win the big races and move forward. And the other trainer that we have is, I don't want to drop any names. One of my favorite trainers, he got beard, and he's tall. But I don't want to say who he is. But he likes keeping his horses in the stable and collecting stable fees every month. And you don't see them running it. And not only him, but there's a couple more. I don't want to say those names. But that's what's happened. That's exactly what happens in Natal. That is why you see only Duncan, Dreyer, Duncan, Dreyer. Horse racing is a very expensive game. It's not cheap, especially if you're an owner. I know it's good for the trainers and jockeys, but for the owners it's very expensive. Some of the people that don't know about owning horses, they think Roy Moodley makes a lot of money by owning horses and winning. But they don't realize you don't make nothing. I do it because of passion. It's all about passion. You don't make money as an owner unless if you have a bomb. Then only you make money. Quite a few guys came to me and said, "Hey, listen, man. You made a great fortune in horse racing. I want to make a small fortune. Can you help me?" I said, "Yeah." "How much fortune you got? How big fortune you got?" He said, "No, I got fortune." But I said, "Yeah, put your fortune and then you make a small fortune." That's what it's all about. Paul, thank you very much, Paul, and thank you to my wife. I have to bring her on the top, otherwise my bills don't get paid. My wife is the best in the world. She's the best cook. She's the best in entertaining people that comes home, and she's the best nag. She's best in everything. Just the other day, I've been to ICC, and I was walking up the aisle there, and there was a young, beautiful girl came up to me, and she told me, "Hey, can I have a photo with you?" I said, "Okay, no problem." Then my wife, I didn't even call her, she came and stood next to me. I said, "Listen." Then after I took the photo, then that girl said, "Listen, can I have one alone with you?" Now my wife says, No, we're in a hurry now. And she just pulls me and go away. That is why, you see, it is important to take my wife everywhere so I don't get carried away. Thank you to the trainers. Thank you to Gold Circle. Thank you to the jockeys. I see Delpech is here also. The last race that last time he rode for me, I think in August, I think in July it was, for the 5 winners that I had, which Graham said it was a world record. It is true. It is a world record. I think Delpech rode 4 of the 5. Well done, Delpech. Thank you very much. Maybe we'll be looking forward for this season. Thank you, guys. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roy Moodley and Mumsy. Moving on now to the champion KZN Owner of the Year. And this is an owner based anywhere in South Africa who wins more stake money in KwaZulu-Natal than any other. Your champion KZN Owner of the Year for 2017 is... Mayfair Speculators. Nominee Mr. Derek Brookman. They had a wonderful season, winning with Lady of the House, Edict of Nantes, Just Sensual, and a host of other good winners. I'm going to call on Jill and Dennis Dreyer to please come up and receive the award on behalf of Mayfair Speculators. Derek Brookman has sent his apologies, but in his apology, he did ask me specifically to thank the boards of KZN Nota and the board of Gold Circle, and to wish us well this evening. He generally likes to be here, but unfortunately the timing of this evening's event didn't fit in with his travel plans. So let's give Derek Brookman, the nominee for Mayfair Speculators, a big round of applause in his absence. Okay, so the average time of Roy's speech and Derek's speech works out quite nicely. Right, ladies and gentlemen, a nice big round of applause for Paul Lafferty, who's not going to train in Qatar, and Koos de Klerk. We've still got 4 very special awards to give away, ladies and gentlemen, as we build up towards the Horse of the Year and ultimately the Groom of the Horse of the Year. We've still got the Anita Akel Personality of the Year. We've got the KZN Ride of the Season, which we'll chat about a little bit more. We've got the Roy Eckstein Floating Trophy for the KZN Racing Personality of the Year. And then, of course, we build up to the Horse of the Season, which is open to all horses that competed in KwaZulu-Natal, irrespective of where they came from and which province they raided KwaZulu-Natal from during the course of the season. But before we get to that, I'd like you to welcome back for the next 20 minutes or so, and they've promised now to get our feet tapping. Please welcome back the unbelievable guys from Swing City. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting towards the climax of the evening, the announcement of the Horse of the Season. But a couple of other awards to give away before we get to that. As you know, every year at both the KZN Racing Awards and the KZN Breeders' Awards, Anita Akel always gives away her presentation. She looks for somebody that has served the industry in more than one capacity, dedicated themselves to the sport of horse racing. But before I go any further, let's introduce the architect of the award herself. And I'm not quite sure how she's going to get past Beaches Brook on this occasion. Let's have on stage the one and only Anita Akel. My arrangement with Anita was that to help her up, but I don't know how she's going to get back down. Okay, we try and keep these awards as secret as possible, so no word is out beforehand. When it comes to these kind of awards, we like it to be a surprise. We like it to be recognition, due recognition for a person or persons, perhaps, who have served the industry for a long period of time, unselfishly, as I said earlier, in more capacity than one, given their time, given their love, given their passion to the industry. And Anita Akel sort of has a good look around, and every year she's come up with a deserving award, except for the year that she chose me, perhaps, but that's another story. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to unveil the Anita Akel Personality of the Year. Here we go!
Shine bright like a diamond.
And Di Campbell!
Fine light in the beautiful sea. I chose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see, a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd become one right away. Oh, right away.
Let's give them a nice big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Doug, as you know, is an owner, he's a trainer, he's a breeder, but he has served Gold Circle and the Gold Circle Racing Club for so many years. Past board member, he just absolutely loves the game. He's 70 plus and still going strong with the support of Di. You and Di, did you hear the song, You and I? Now, of course, these guys haven't prepared any speeches because they actually had no idea they were going to be winners tonight. So, Doug and Di, I don't know who's going to talk, but I think, not Di. She said, to listen to Doug is to die for. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's show some real appreciation for one of the great supporters of horse racing over so many years, the Anita Akel Personality of the Year, Mr. and Mrs. Doug and Di Campbell. And if he starts telling stories about Peter Maritzburg and hotels, I'm going to cut him off.
Well, Di and I are quite taken aback. We're sitting there quietly having drinks with Anita. It's the last thing we thought about. We're going to get an award tonight. And I just can't thank Anita. Has been a wonderful person. All these years we've known her, she's the most amazing person. I know every time there's a winner, she has a winner. But it's fantastic having her there at the races. She's so enthusiastic when the owners have winners. It's lovely having a person like her. And I just like to say I just love racing. It's been a privilege to be an owner. Nowadays they do give out colours easily, but I think it still is a privilege to have a horse and owning. And it's over the years we've sort of built up fantastic friendships through horse racing and racing with other trainers and jockeys. I can remember in the early days we used to travel down to Colesberg in buses to go and look at horses. I can remember Dennis Stryer watching there this evening. Well, on those buses going to Colesberg, he was uncontrollable. We used to have to remind him that he was still training for Harry Oppenheimer. And really, I can't thank the mates we've made over the years with the jockeys and the trainers and the owners we've had. And most of all, my wife, she is the best horse in my stable. And she used to be passionate about me, but she's more passionate about the horses now. And really, I can't thank you all for all the friendships we've made over the years. We're quite taken aback. The last thing we expected, we were invited to come tonight, and they did give Di and I the honeymoon suite tonight. So I'm sure we'll have a good evening. But it's wonderful to have friends
And I can see I've been put at the Larnies table there with Bill Lambert and Nick Labashane and Kim. It's wonderful to be here. But chaps, thanks for all the support we've had over these years. And really, it's a wonderful honor to get Anita Akel's trophy because I think it's a special one to die now. Thank you very much.
But as you can see from Di, although that she is maybe the best horse in the yard, costs a lot less to feed her. Why did he pick on you, Dennis? Huh? Why? Do you want the mic? Should we turn this into Parliament or something like that? Do you want to have your say? Best we don't actually know what happened on the bus to Colesberg. Actually, talking about the bus to Colesberg, we used to go down on a different bus from Joburg, and yeah, I can tell you stories about the bus to Colesberg. Actually, you know, you guys all think that you got a glimpse tonight that Doug is not so innocent as he first appears. I can tell you stories that he has shared with me. It would be completely out of school to repeat those tonight, but he's not. He's a great guy, a great personality, a great choice, Anita, a great choice to Doug and Di Campbell tonight, but he's not as sweet and innocent as you guys think. But perhaps you need to ask him directly about that. Last year we introduced something completely new. We introduced the ride of the season. And yes, we at Gold Circle, the panel of judges and adjudicators, had the unenviable task of actually selecting the rides. And that in itself, I guess, is a bit of a subjective exercise. But we looked at all the rides through the season and sort of came up with a short list of 5 or 6. But we turned it into a public competition. It's a one award tonight that the public get to vote on. So obviously we flighted these various rides on Teletrack and on social media, and the choice of the ride of the season doesn't rest with anybody in this room. It rested out there with the public. And it was our way of trying to get them to be engaged and involved in this whole award ceremony this evening. So I think before we introduce the winner of the KZN Ride of the Season, let's refresh your memories. But before I do that, I'm going to ask Moses Tembi and Neil Butcher to join me on stage again. Please welcome back our Vice Chairman, Moses Tembi, and the Chairman of the Gold Circle Racing Club and Chairman of the Racing Committee, Neil Butcher. Let's have another big round of applause for these guys. And they will do the honors through to the end. We've only got 3 more awards to go, ladies and gentlemen. So to refresh your memories and to set the scene, here we go with the various nominees in the KZN Ride of the Season competition.
Head honcho is now starting to lift. He's a very awkward ride, but Anton Marcus is trying to get the best out of him. The talk of the town, head honcho. He's not putting it in, but he looks to win.
And it's Cram Bam Bully the leader. It's my turn. El Sahem, Nightingale, Edict of Nant, Horizon on the outside, Black Arthur, Marinaresco, Cram Bam Bully, El Sahem, it's close. Nightingale, Marinaresco and El Sahem, they went over the line as one. Train Fortissimo's running on. Zante hit the front. Kinan led a train. Down the inside, Banner Hill. Hermoso Mundo and Zante from Kinan. Hermoso Mundo. Zante, there's nothing in it. Hermoso Mundo's going to win it. Romany Prince tries to put on the pressure. Wakana Punagi, and on the outside, Matador Man. Dawn Calling still leads it. Matador Man's now really kicking in. And here's Matador Man. He erupts through to win going away. Desert Rhythm, Folk Dance, Lady in Black on the outside, and Folk Dance is running around. Desert Rhythm comes good. Here's Lady in Black on the outside, and Rockin' Russian's also running on, but it's now Lady in Black, and Lady in Black just made it home. Lady in Black won its second Rockin' Russian.
And the public have voted. The ride of the season goes to Bernard Fadeherb Marinaresco in the 2017 Vodacom Durban July. And it's great to have Bernard here this evening, as it is to have Waishong Mowing and Anthony Delpesh and Eric Ngwani. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, give him a nice big round of applause. Nice to have Bernard in town for this evening. I need to say to you, and I want to thank Waishong as well, and because these guys, obviously, when you looked at those finalists, it was a kept secret. No idea who was going to be the winner. Nobody knew who was going to be the winner. The voting closed just late yesterday afternoon. And Waishong, the fact that you and Bernard have come all the way from your respective hometowns to be with us here this evening. Let's also give Waishong Mowing, who rode, of course, a Mozamundo to victory, a warm round of applause. Because you know what? It's all about sportsmanship, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about sportsmanship. It's being there, whether you win or whether you lose at the end of the day. It's about supporting the game. It's about supporting the sport of horse racing. So, Waishong, I salute you, although you're not a winner tonight, but it's all about winners. Ladies and gentlemen, the ride of the season, Bernard Fadeherb. Bernard, you going to say a few words? Come here. Maybe this should be an interview. You got a mic and I've got a mic. You see, you take that mic, you turn it that way, and I'll take this mic. Okay, I'm going to ask you just one question. I guess it might have been fairly predictable for the public to vote that as the ride of the season. Although you were up against a couple of extraordinarily good rides, I think the sentiment, the fact that Marinaresco carried top weight, the fact that you appear to be in a hopeless position, and that's my question to you. Tell me honestly, going through the 400 meters mark in the 2017 Vodacom Durban July, what were you thinking?
I couldn't believe that I had so much horse underneath me.
That can't be true because he's one of the smallest horses in training.
He's probably 15 hands.
Yeah. So now tell me, Bernard, plans for the new year?
I'm going to head back to Cape Town and we're going to concentrate on the Cape season and take it from there.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a man of few words, as you can see. Did you recently get married?
No, according to Justin Snaith, we engaged, but I don't know anything about that yet.
Oh, so he hasn't officially proposed?
No.
And if he proposes, what are you going to respond? You got
I'll
a
have
wife?
to think about it, yeah.
You're going to have to think about it?
Definitely.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Bernard Fadeherb. Jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this so many times. We in South Africa sometimes are our own worst critics. I said this at the Equus Awards, and I think it's worth repeating for those of you who perhaps weren't at the Equus Awards. Sometimes the people who least appreciate the talent and the quality that we have within the South African horse racing and breeding industries are the people in South Africa itself. We are held in huge esteem from outside of our country. The world believes we have a first world product. They gladly take our racing. We export to 40 countries around the world. As we know, the revenue that we get from those countries is vital in keeping us going. We are truly a member in South Africa, both from a racing, a sporting, and a breeding perspective, a global player. We have seen our jockeys go worldwide and dominate. For 20 years, South Africans held the championship title in Hong Kong. We make our presence felt in Australia, where Jeff Lloyd has taken the world by storm, even after being seriously ill. We have seen them ride up a storm in Singapore, into the United Kingdom. We've seen our horses compete at the very highest level in the United States of America, in England, in Hong Kong, in Dubai. We have huge talent in this country, most notably amongst our world-class riders. So to Anthony Delpesh, to Waishong Mowing, to Anton Marcus, to Bernard Fadeherb, to Richard Fourie, to the young and up-and-coming stars like Callan Murray and Lyle Hewitson. You don't have to step back for anybody else in this world. You are right up there with the very best of them. Absolutely, without doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of years back, I think it's 5 or 6 years ago, we recognized the role that the late Roy Eckstein played in the development and formation of Gold Circle. He was the first chairman of the company before he met his untimelious passing. And so, about 5 or 6 years ago, we introduced to these awards the Roy Eckstein Floating Trophy, which is for the KZN Racing Personality of the Year, as adjudged by the team at Gold Circle. As I said, we try to keep these kind of awards as secret as possible, make sure nothing leaks. We like it to be a surprise, and I think that you're going to join me tonight in recognizing that the choice that we've made in 2017 is absolutely the right one. The Roy Eckstein Floating Trophy for Gold Circle's KZN Racing Personality of the Year. Diamond! Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a big round of applause. He eats, sleeps, and drinks the sport of horse racing. And occasionally, he says hello to his wife. That smile, just do it again. That smile has become famous in 40 countries of the world, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Dees Diamond, ladies and gentlemen. You've only seen him perform on course. I've seen him perform off course. When he's doing those card calls and he really gets into it, that's when you see Dees as a performer, as a rock star, as a player on the stage. So hopefully, Dees, I want to see you in action now, right? You've got exactly, I'm going to give him a challenge. You've got 10 seconds. Kidding.
Thanks, Graham. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm truly humbled and honored to receive this award on behalf of the operator, Gold Circle here in KZN. And although it's not an award for a champion, I really feel like a champion this evening. It's a pleasant surprise. I've told my story hundreds of times, but I've never been given a platform within racing to tell it. So, Graham, I'm going to give you the abridged version. I'll try and make it as quick as possible. 17 years ago, there was an advert on Teletrack for the next presenter that they're looking for. And I was a punter. I used to play from home on my phone. And my wife had a study next door to the room. And this advert continuously came up throughout the week, and I didn't even take notice of it. And she kept reminding me that I should apply for this job. And I thought it was ridiculous. But we know our women are persistent and they usually get their way. So I sat down and I just wrote the letter that they wanted. It was a one-page letter. And she faxed it through for me. I didn't think about whether they were going to call me. It never crossed my mind whether I was ever going to get the opportunity to go for what I thought was going to be an interview. And the call came, and they said, you can come through to Greyville Racecourse. And I jumped in the car with the wife. She drove, got to Greyville. I was expecting an interview. And I walked into a room, and there was a camera, there was lights, there was Martin Locke, Mr. Television, there was Raymond Rogers, Mr. Wayne Belling, who was my producer then, he was there. And they said, we're going to have an audition. I said, I came here for an interview. They said, no, we're going to make a little tape of you and see how it goes. So I sat down, told them a bit about myself. We did a mock preview of a race and a mock interview with Martin. I left. I never thought of it. I promise I did not think whether I'm going to be shortlisted for this job. I just did what my wife wanted me to do. And then a few weeks later, I get a call saying, you're shortlisted. And there's a gentleman that's sitting in the audience here today. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me mentioning him. He's also shortlisted. It's our very own Stipe, Rakesh Juanlal. He was one of the guys that was shortlisted in the top 5. And I got the job. I've got my wife to thank for changing my life. I've got Martin Locke to thank for changing my destiny. Martin took a chance, he took a gamble, as we do in horse racing, with something that he saw in me. I never held a mic in my hand before. I never went for speech and drama classes. I never had no experience in journalism. I knew nobody in racing. And here was a guy who believed and took a chance in something that he saw in me. We all rely on others for opportunities in life, and Martin, you changed mine. Racing has become my family. I thank you for that. I thank the operator for everything that they have given me over the years. Here I stand 17 years later, doing what I love, my passion. In closing, I'd also like to thank Anthony Delpesh. Another story. I never ever thought of being a jockey's agent. I was in my comfort zone. I love doing what I'm doing on a daily basis with Teletrack. And Anthony and his family saw something in me. They took a chance, and in 3 years, we won 3 KZN titles and a South African championship together. Bonji, thanks for believing me, my man. I treasure the professional relationship we share, and I value our friendship and the friendship that we share with our family. Racing is my family. Racing is my life. Racing is my passion. Graham, if you were part of this, or whoever was part of this, it really makes the last 17 years worthwhile. And I'd never, ever dreamt that I'll be standing on this podium for any award. I feel like a champion today, and I thank you all. Thank you so much.
Amazing how we have different terminologies in different sports. In racing, you're a jockey's agent. In golf, you would have been a caddy. Right, ladies and gentlemen. And so we come to the finality, the horse of the year, and by definition, we present an award to the groom of the horse of the year. We have 3 nominees for Outstanding Racehorse of Champion Season 2017, a season which will long be remembered as many that have gone before, because there's no doubt that our champion season, and we're very fortunate, running through with the curtain raises in March and April, but through the main season of May, June, and July, is indeed South Africa's champion season and defines champions in the true sense of the word in the local context. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our 3 nominees. And the first of 3 nominees in this most prestigious of categories. Bull Valley, dual grade 1 winner of the Tsokasan Sprint and the Mercury Sprint. Our second nominee, and a horse that created history this year, Hermosa Mundo, winner of the Gold Bars and the Gold Cup. And our third nominee, Marinaresco, started the season off with victory in the Independent on Saturday Drill Hall Stakes, and then became the first horse in a long while to win the Vodacom Durban July under top weight. Ladies and gentlemen, the horse of the season is Bull Valley. multiple Grade 1 winner of the Tokasan Sprint and the Mercury Sprint. We welcome Pierre Botha, Zachary Nassif, George Nassif and Dijon Steyn.
There's a maniac out in front of me. Got an angel on my shoulder and Mephistopheles. But mama raised me good, mama raised me right. Mama said do what you want.
Here they come, ladies and gentlemen, the winning team. Let's give them a nice big round of applause. Multiple Grade 1 winner against some stiff opposition in the form of Amosa Mundo and Marinaresco, either of whom in an ordinary year could well have come out trumps. We recognize the quality of the other nominees in this category, the fact that Amosa Mundo won both the Gold Vase and the Eland Gold Cup, and that Marinaresco became the first horse in so many years to win the Vodacom Durban July under top weight. But our undisputed champion, the multiple Grade 1 winner, Team Bull Valley. You want to say something? You sure? And we'd like Mandilake, my apologies, Mr. Mtwesi, Mr. Mandilake Mtwesi to join the winning party. Just wait. Groom of Bull Valley. He's not with us, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, a late apology, but Dijon Steyn will accept his award on his behalf. Dijon, do you want to say something? Dijon Steyn would like to say something on behalf of Team Bull Valley and on behalf of the Sean Terry Stables. Please welcome Dijon Steyn.
I just want to thank Gold Circle for a lovely evening. Thank the owners, Zach and all the boys. It was a very good horse. Not the soundest, but Sean done wonders with him. So congratulate Sean on a lovely season and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The horse of the year, Bull Valley, winner of the Grade 1 Tokasan Sprint and the Grade 1 Mercury Sprint. And guys, thank you for making the trip all the way from Johannesburg, as did the connections of Amosa Mundo. We thank you guys for being such wonderful sports and joining us here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formalities for this evening. Dessert will be served in just a moment, and David Yap is with us. There's no excuse not to party the night away. It's still quite early. It's only 10:15. There's a dance floor in front. Enjoy your dessert. Thanks for joining us at the KZN Racing Awards 2017. In closing, I would just like you to join me in congratulating Raymond Rogers, Michelle Wing and their teams for putting all of the wonderful visuals together for us this evening. To Raymond and his team and to Michelle Wing, a big round of applause and a big thank you very much.